on page 23, it starts talking about the factor and remainder theorems. The factor and remainder theorems are going to help us find roots when we start graphing, find our x-intercepts. In order to do the factor and remainder theorems, you have to be able to do synthetic division. Synthetic division really sets you up for the next thing we have to talk about. So yeah, you can do long division, but synthetic division is really the main thing I need you to be able to do. So our factor theorem is all that, there's your mathematical terms at the top of page 24. But basically, if it's a factor of it, and I do my division, I shouldn't have a remainder. For example, is r minus 3 a factor of that polynomial? Well, if it's a factor, it means I can divide it evenly. So to do it the quick way, I'm going to use synthetic division. Remember, that's setting up for the next lesson. So with synthetic division, I take the opposite of that, 3. Make my half a box. Then all I'm concerned with are the coefficients of my big polynomial. So 1, negative 3, 6, then negative 18. First number always comes straight down. Then anything on the outside we're going to multiply. Anything on the inside we're going to add. So 1 times 3 is 3. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. 0 times 3 is 0. 6 plus 0 is 6. 6 times 3 is a positive 18. Remember, that one is always my remainder. So because I don't have a remainder, meaning 0, I got 0 in this last box right here. That means r minus 3 is a factor. If I had leftovers, meaning I had a remainder, it wouldn't be a factor. For it to be a factor, it has to divide evenly in there. So my answer is just yes. Alright, which brings up the remainder theorem. When you have a remainder, that tells you that it's not a factor. So the remainder theorem is essentially just synthetic division. And then you kind of can decide if you have a remainder, meaning yes, it is a factor, or no, it's not. So what is the remainder when I divide f of x equals x cubed plus 2 by x plus 1? So I'll take the opposite of x plus 1, draw my box. Now I'm missing a lot of terms between x cubed and my constant of 2. For those missing terms, I'm just going to fill in with zeros. So x cubed is 1, it's a coefficient. I don't have an x squared, and I don't have an x, but I have a constant. So 1 comes straight down. Then remember, out here you're going to multiply. In here you're going to add. So 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. 0 plus negative 1, negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 1, 1. Adding, multiplying. Now, because I had a remainder, I know that x plus 1 is not a factor. But my remainder, because the question asked me what the remainder is, my remainder is 1 over x plus 1. Okay? Divide that polynomial by x minus 1 using synthetic division. So remember, I'm going to take the opposite of this, so 1, box. Then now if you look up there at what you're dividing into, 2, 3, flip those around because it should still be in order, negative 5, and 1. So it goes x squared of 3, x squared of 2, x squared of 1, and constant. 2 comes down, 2 times 1 is 2, 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 times 1 is 5, negative 5 plus 5 is 0, 0 times 1 is 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. Now my remainder, oh sorry, that should be 0. 0 times 1 is 1, I mean 0. 1 plus 0 is 1. So my remainder is always in that last bucket, but I've got to actually be able to write my answer. So I'm going to drop 1 below the highest exponent of 3. So this is going to be my x squared, then I'm going to have x, then I'm going to have my constant, then I'm going to have my remainder. So 2x squared plus 5x. Now You can write plus 0, that's fine, but you don't have to write plus 0. Plus 1 over x minus 1. I'm not going to write plus 0. Okay, pause it, try this one using synthetic division, then check your work. Alright, negative 1, we're going to take in the opposite. 2, 2, 1, negative 1, and negative 1. Bring that down, multiply, add, multiply again, multiply again, okay, negative 1 plus 0 will be negative 1, 1, 0. Alright, so now I'm going to drop 1 below. I'm going to drop 1 below and write my answer. So 1 below that is going to be x cubed, x squared, x, constant, and remainder. Alright, I'm missing a lot of terms in there. I don't have an x squared or an x term. So I'm just going to write what I've got. 2x cubed minus 1. Alright. Next one. Alright. Alright. Opposite would be 1. Coefficients. Bring the first one down. Okay, I don't have a remainder, so that's good. I'm going to go 1 below x to the 4th, so I'm going to have x cubed, x squared, x, and my constant. So I'm going to have 1x cubed plus 3x squared minus 2x plus 1, and I don't have a remainder. Okay? Alright, a polynomial f, which is the f of x, and a factor of f are given. Factor f completely. Okay, you just talked about doing grouping, meaning when I have 4 terms, I can group it. These right here, these 4 terms, I cannot group them and pull out a GCF and make anything remotely similar. Otherwise, we just do that. But I'm giving a factor. I'm giving this right here as a factor. So I'm going to use that to find my other ones. So I'm going to take opposite of that. So I'm going to do my synthetic division. Now, I know that that's a factor. I just proved that it is in fact a factor because it doesn't have a remainder. Okay? So now I'm going to look at my answer, the 1, the 14, and the 33. That's going to be x squared, x, and my constant. So I've got x squared plus 14x plus 33. That I can solve. I can use my x method. Or so multiply to get 33. Add to get 14. Those two numbers would be 11 and 3. So I'll write out my factors. X plus 11, x plus 3. And I cannot forget that one. X minus 5. Those are my 3 factors. Alright. Polynomial f and a factor of f are given. Factor f completely. So again, I'm going to use my synthetic division and then my x method. Alright, this one is worded a little bit differently because you're told negative 2 is a factor. So when I do my synthetic division, I'm going to use negative 2. It's just like saying x plus 2. Because remember, when you do synthetic, you switch that around. You make the opposite. 8, negative 25, negative 50. again, we've proved that negative 2 is a factor. So now we've got x squared, x, and the constant. So 4x squared, I'm not going to write 0, minus 25. Now, that is a difference of squares. So I'm going to take the square root of both. So that's going to be 2x plus 5. Then I'm going to do the same thing with a minus. Then I have to go back up and remember that is also a factor.